Hey guys, it's Jason here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the video. Before we get to the second video running the Mojave 4S, I wanted to show you guys how close I came to changing out the system today. So this originally started with me just wanting to do a little bit of maintenance on the truck. I ran it once. It was very gross, very wet grass. The truck was a big mess when I got home. If you watched the first video, you'll know what I'm talking about. I posted pictures of what it was like when I got the body off. It was gross. And a few things. I wanted to check that out. I wanted to see, what shape everything was in. Plus, I wanted just to kind of go over the gear mesh, see what it was like, check out that center differential that's new now. Just, again, guys, just really wanted to see it with my own eyes. And it was crazy, guys. There was water still all over this thing. Inside these things was like absolutely disgusting. I think I snapped a few pics even after I had started cleaning it. So it was definitely gross. Now I've got everything cleaned out. Everything is good to go. And I was sitting here and I was like, man, I could just go ahead and change things out. So my first thing was this 2400 kV. This was, guys, kind of my original plan with this truck was to change it out. And as you can see, guys, it would just drop in, heatsink and all that stuff would work. Obviously, being a Castle motor, being a better quality motor, I think I could do a little bit more with it. As well as, guys, I was also going to be putting in a Max 8. And I got to this point and I was like, okay, I should do this. Then I remembered that I still have a Corelli 2050 kV motor. This is, guys, a wicked motor. Every RTR Corelli has them, and everybody knows what these things are like in those trucks. So I kind of was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll drop this in the truck. And like I mentioned in some of the first videos of the Mojave 4S, I'm at some point going to do this and run this truck on 5S. Now, a few people have asked me about that, and I am going to do, guys, a video just specifically and purely on 5S because a lot of people don't seem to understand it, and I understand why most trucks today, they rate them 2, 3, 4, 6, 8S type thing. You get into the really big fancy systems, you get 12S. Most people aren't familiar with 5S. So I will, guys, very shortly be doing a video on that just so you guys can understand what's going on, the voltages and all that kind of fun stuff. But going back to this truck, again, I was really close to changing out the motor. The other thing, guys, I was going to do was kind of change out the pinion. When I realized that I think I counted, guys, I think it's a 16-tooth pinion in here. I was kind of like, you know what, that's pretty high for this truck. I don't think I'm going to change that out. Again, guys, the differential feels great. So I think the only thing after all this that I'm going to do is up the punch on the ESC to 5, and that's it. I don't really think there's much more I can do. I don't think changing out a higher pinion would help. I did notice that with this truck, its best kind of power band is sort of right in the middle. So I think even going taller on the pinion, I don't think that would benefit it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get everything back in the truck. We are going to get the punch set to 5 and run this thing again. And, it's kind of funny, guys. This truck has a wheelie bar, and not once did this truck ever stand up on that run. So on the first run. So we'll see what happens today going to that punch 5. But if I'm not impressed, and if I'm kind of like, this isn't what I wanted for this truck, yes, we will be changing this thing. What's kind of neat is I was playing with the Max 8. I had the whole kind of motor housing in here. And the neat thing is, guys, this motor is actually going to sit perfectly. The leads are going to go right into the Max 8 without making any extensions or anything like that. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing this motor first or doing the 2400 kV first. This thing does have a 75,000 max RPM. So even though it's only rated for 4S, when I kind of do the math, I have no problem running 5S on it. So we'll see. Again, guys, we're going to see. But for now, I'm just going to get everything back in the truck and let's get out and run this bad boy. Thought I would kind of come up here today, run it a little bit more in sort of kind of its fun environment, not just jumping it, and see how it's going to handle. Now it is first thing in the morning and it's cold. We had nothing but rain yesterday, and then it dropped to about -5 last night. So the ground is kind of interesting. Pull out. I don't even know where I went. There we are. I can see the shadow. You sure don't use that wheelie bar much with this truck. At least with the stock electronics anyways. You know, I remember coming here and doing what I'm doing right now the first time with my RTR Mojave 6S, not the EXB, the RTR one. Whoa! And oh jeez. Oh jeez. Oh, come on. All right, well, we don't need to blow a diff 2 minutes into running. And yeah, what I was getting at was, this is where I ran my Mojave 6S for the first time, doing this, and this is when it was the most fun. Just ripping it along, watching it fly across the ground. Like that. It's what this truck was kind of, you know, designed for. Yeah. Oh, there's something there. I keep hitting. Pull out, guys. Yeah. Gen's A's 5500. Again, guys, stock pinion, which I think is 16 tooth. Punch at 5, brake still at 50. This truck kind of reminds me of those days when, early on in RC, kind of when the Slash 4x4 came out. And the Slash 4x4 was a lot of fun. This just sort of takes it just to a more hardcore level. Okay, so I'm gonna say something, guys. Punch to 5, even though, or at least for right now anyways, overall driving, like ripping around on the ground, it didn't change much of the handling of the truck, but this seems to work better when you're jumping. Yeah, if you watch the first running video I did of this truck, I definitely had a lot of issues. Now I'm not going as hardcore, but Punch 5 on this truck seemed to have extremely helped it. Yeah, that's much better. It's funny, I put the ramp here because of those trees, because being that it's cold, I didn't want to, I just realized I should probably stay on this side because of the sun. I didn't want to go too crazy because yeah, the plastic's gonna get cold and all that kind of fun stuff. What? I don't know if you guys see that. It's like a mid-air brake. I am baffled by that. I don't think this truck has AVC. If it does, I didn't set it up. And I mean, it's an SR315, so. Nice. Okay, so Punch 5, guys, huge. Huge improvement over, oddly enough, guys, just Punch 4. time I hear that thing come down, I'm like, oh man, it sounds like something's snapping. I feel like I should lower the ramp. Yeah, guys, that's a nice improvement. I think I've said it now like 17 times, but if you buy a Mojave 4S, punch to 5 right away, especially if you're jumping it. You will notice a nice improvement. And again, I don't notice much of a difference when we're on the ground. Like it's not extreme snappy or anything like that. We're not wheeling or anything like that. That's full throttle. Now again, it could also be the fact that it is a little bit drier. That's what I didn't want to do, is put the truck into the tree. And I am hoping, guys, to get out again today with this thing. So kind of slow it down a little bit. See, that was nice. I came up, nice steady throttle, gave it a blip right before I left the ramp. Just want to see if I can do that again. Just a nice speed. Nice. Woo. Jeez. Oh my God. It's definitely sliding, guys. Again, the ground is cold. It's sliding a lot more than I thought it was going to. I was hoping just to kind of come ripping around this corner and kind of drift it a bit, but I don't think that's going to happen. I had to really watch my throttle on that one. No idea why. Again, guys, this is where this truck is fun. If you plan on standing at a ramp forever, there's other trucks you can go with. But this is where this thing is at home. Full throttle. God, I hate those poles. Full throttle. Full throttle. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Keep saying, guys, over and over again, but this is where this truck is at home. Just ripping it around. Punch 5. Yeah, you got to do that. And a lot of people I noticed kind of commenting on my last video where they were like, oh, a Hobbywing program card works on a Arrma. It does on some ESCs. Same kind of goes the opposite direction, where there's some Hobbywing ESCs that'll work with like a Spectrum card, and then some that will not. But yes, this truck, if you got a Hobbywing program card you bought, I don't know, any Corelli or lots of other RCs in the last little bit that came with that generic programming card, yeah, you're good to go to program this thing. And like I said, max 5 or punch 5. Brake's good at 50, everything else is awesome. Your BEC is automatically at 7.4 or 7.2, whatever it is. Again, guys, too, you know, I'm going to say this, I keep going on about the punch, but it's definitely better than, like, the terrain right now, guys, is better than it was the first time I drove it. Hopefully you guys aren't getting blinded and the video looks horrendous because of that sun. I keep trying to remember to stand a certain way. Nice. I feel like I just need to take the ramp just someplace else for right now, just to get a better jump in. Kind of want to give it some air. But I don't want to hit the tree. And like I said, I strategically put it here so I wouldn't go too crazy. It's first thing in the morning and I hope to get out again today. So I didn't want to break something. Oh, that is nice, guys. What a difference. And honestly, I think, you know what, guys, I'm going to kind of own up to this. I think that the last video where I was really kind of going off, or 2 videos ago, whatever it was, where I was going off on this thing jumping, I think it just had to do with the way the conditions were. Because I was having a really hard time even doing something like that in the wet weather. Hey, look at the doggy. And now this thing is jumping beautifully. Oh, geez. Arrma tough. Yeah, guys, that's jumping so nice now. What a difference. Just needed to be able to hook up. Yeah, that's so nice. So yeah, that's my fault. So if you watched that video, or you haven't watched that video yet, ignore what I have to say a lot in that video. Yeah. We still got those nasty chassis slaps and the bouncing, but I'm standing out here with a big grin on my face right now because this is a lot of fun. However, I will stick to my original thing, guys. It could use a little bit more power. It's not awful or anything, and it's probably great for a lot of people. That was no throttle input, guys, at all. No brake, nothing. I just wanted to see how it would do. And as you can see, it still did really, really well. But yeah, it could use a little bit more power. That's full out right there. I'd like to see this thing kind of have a little bit of reserve, a little bit of wheelie action, a little bit of out of control. Oh, like when that comes down, honestly, it almost sounds like an 8th or a 5th scale. LVC, guys. All right, guys, that was awesome. Mojave 4S just completely hammered it. We will get it home. We'll get it back on the bench. We'll look it over. But overall, guys, that was awesome. All right, guys, we've got the truck home. It's back on the bench. It's all cleaned up. And what a different animal today. Dried ramp, not soaking wet outside. Punch 5 completely transformed this truck. And I mean it, guys. Like I mentioned it, I'm pretty sure, in the video, where that first run I was kind of like, oh, was this really what I wanted in a truck? Because I've already bought, guys, 2 other cars before this. This just showed up before those did, because they're coming from the States and this one was in Canada. And I was kind of like almost bummed. So not to be all Debbie Downer here or anything, but I wasn't super excited when I was finished running it in that first video. However, today, and guys, huge spoiler alert here, I've had the truck out now a few times since you're watching this part of the video. And the next video, guys, if it doesn't convince you that this thing is an absolute friggin' monster, nothing will. Because again, I don't want to ruin it, but I get to the point in the video that's coming where I kind of just didn't even care anymore. I just kept sending it, launching it, pinning it, doing whatever with it. And I won't tell you guys how it ended, but what an absolute animal. I am so... Again, guys, that first time I drove it, I was like, oh, man, almost a little bit disappointed. But now, you know what? This thing, guys, is probably, again, sort of a spoiler alert here, but probably the best out-of-the-box RTR I've ever had, ever owned, ever driven. I've never had something take what this truck does. And I mentioned, guys, in one video where back when the Slash 4x4 came out, it was a pretty good truck. It was a pretty durable truck for the time. And it wasn't until you really kind of started driving it harder that you started to see where all the issues were. This thing, on the other hand, guys, is just a monster. And to all the Ken and Karens who keep posting in my previous videos and on Instagram that's not what it's for, it's this, go buy. Hey, you have the right to think that. However, guys, this is a freaking Arrma. Okay, that's what we do. Arrmas, we drive them hard, we bash them. Heck, we off-road felonies and infractions for something to do. We do that, again, right there. That's why. And we can. And for all those guys that don't want to see this thing jumping, you know what? Definitely don't watch the next video, because you're going to be pissed. Because this thing took what a 1/8 scale basher muggy I had out before it. This took it more than that thing did, because that vehicle broke, that truck broke, and this thing didn't. And it just kept taking it with not one issue, not one little like, oh, I need to, pop this back in, or I need to pull this out of here, or I need to just, tighten this down. Nothing. And if you could see me right now, I'm going nothing. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if you're new to the channel, if you're just started watching my content, consider giving me a like, subscribing, because I have a lot of fun. I vlog, I do what I do, and I just have fun doing it. So as always, guys, if you like this video, again, give me a big thumbs up, please subscribe, and have a great day.